Hey TV fans, Board now back with you. On this video I will be talking about episode 6 of season 3 of Ozark. It is called Casa. Oh, I've probably fucked that up. But it's called Casa. That's the name of the episode. Full spoilers from the start of this review as always. And I feel like there's several things going on with a few different plots this time, but I feel like a lot of the big stuff is with Ruth and Ryder and that stuff, and also obviously with some of the birds, but also concerning Erin, and her stuff with her mum Helen. So it's Erin once again insists on seeing Tommy, and this is potentially dangerous, partly because Tommy maybe isn't the sort of guy you want to be hanging around with, and not exactly the sort of boyfriend you want to be bringing home to your parents. Obviously, Helen, as a mother, is very protective, but also the other thing to be wary about that is the information, because Tommy is like the main reason he's getting close to her is actually to like get information on the birds and like feed it back to his employers, to the mafia. So there's actually an ulterior motive. It's not just that he's then he's doing it to get with a girl sort of thing. So things escalate where Erin, starts once again going, after Tommy, and again they're sort of drinking and stuff, and things get out of hand because Tommy especially starts, getting all macho, and they're just on like the beach or something with like drinks and some guns, and he sort of golds like Jonah into like showing off how good he is with a gun. It's like this whole masculinity type thing going on, and Charlotte's like, no, screw this, Jonah, you don't have to prove anything to this guy, and things just get a little bit tense, and in the end Jonah, I think, just like does the right thing and like turns the other cheek, or he just like fires the gun off in the distance or something. He doesn't do anything major, but things escalate in the scene, and it sort of gets out of hand, and it leads to like the three of them, Jonah, Charlotte, Erin, being arrested, and this obviously brings heat on to Wendy and from Helen, and they start to argue who's responsible for Erin's action. But obviously this whole thing with Erin and Tommy leads to Tommy giving Trevor further like information. Trevor's the FBI guy, so it's revealed Tommy is being used as like an informant in this one. So this actually leads to them getting like crucial information against the birds. So you get this sort of standoff where the cartel actually arrange for the birds to be like protected overnight, because there's like these weird SUV trucks spotted in the area, and they're sort of on edge about who it is, are they coming after them, sort of thing. There's also an interesting term with Ben in this episode, because him and Ruth get close to each other, and they actually have sex, so that they sort of get together for the first time. But it's also revealed that Ben has bipolar, and we see him take tablets at one point, but basically he can't perform. He can't perform sexually with Ruth, and it's sort of he puts it down to like his condition and bipolar, and we just see this. It's sort of interesting seeing that other side of him, because so far, like when he's gone after Ruth, he's come off as quite quite confident and, has a bit of the gift of the gab, but we've obviously seen how unstable he can be, so I think his bipolar and his mental condition definitely explains that. And I know it's mentioned that he doesn't always take his medication, and that obviously can lead to him having like outbursts and things like that. So it's one of the things this show does really well is like destructive sort of relationships, where even though I think this sort of development and finding out that Ben has bipolar, it instantly makes him a bit more sympathetic than he was otherwise, but it doesn't change the fact that you worry about Ruth. You worry about, is she getting too deep in this relationship, and is it a healthy relationship for someone like her? Is she still sort of too young to really be taking this on, or is she going into it with her eyes open? But it's a really good development, and I like their chemistry. I like their scenes together. Speaking of Ruth and her side of the plot, she finds out about Wyatt and Darlene in this episode, and that's because Darlene actually decides to, she reveals to, I think it's Wendy, about restarting her drug business, with like the poppy fields in this episode, and she's going to start that back up with Wyatt helping her out, Wyatt like working for her, and Ruth finds out about Darlene and Wyatt because of Free, because they look to recruit Free, and that's Free then decides to tell Ruth about what's going on, and obviously this leads to Ruth paying a visit, and you've got to remember that Ruth and Wyatt haven't really spoken for a long time. They've not been on good speaking terms recently, so to be honest, Wyatt probably at the best of times would be a bit, stay out of my business, big sister, about this whole thing, but he's even more so at the moment when he's got like a grudge against Ruth. So Ruth advises him, this is not healthy, it's not safe for you to be around this person, and this relationship isn't good. And it's another thing this show does really well, the way it ties these different things together, because Ruth herself is in a bit of a destructive relationship, potentially anyway, with Ben, and you can say the same definitely about this thing with Wyatt and Darlene, but he's obviously having none of it, and we know enough about Ruth to say that she's definitely concerned about her I almost said her son, about her brother. Legitimately, she is concerned about him. It's not just a case of being jealous. She's definitely, legitimately worried about Wyatt and what's going to happen to him. And I think as are we all, because it's unhealthy anyway, and it's clearly not sort of safe. So I'll jump forward to the end of the episode, because as I said, the Keitel are like guarding the bird's house. They actually stay up, Marty and Wendy, because they're sort of on edge and don't feel it's safe to go to bed. And it leads to like this end of the episode where Jonah's actually using his drone light to guard the house on the lookout, and the SUVs are heading towards town. And you've got like this arranged like money drop as normal with Ruth, and Ben and Ruth like are driving to where the drop is, but they're actually informed because of Jonah and this drone. Like Ben sort of goes against like Wendy's wishes and sort of goes anyway, and uses the drone and uses Jonah, so that's obviously against his sister's wishes, but it leads to them being tipped off about what's about to happen. So they actually, when once they're aware, they like hang back, and you see Ruth looking around the thing, and yeah, Frank's men get killed. They're killed, including Frank Jr. So Ruth dodges a bullet there, but it's a dramatic end to the episode and a big statement there. So that's Ozark once again. I'll be back with more soon. Let me know your thoughts as always. Like and subscribe, and you can look out for, because I am going to be like building up for the new episodes, the final ever episodes of the series. So I will be doing some live streams actually coming up, watching some Ozark, so you can join me for that. But I'll be back with another review very soon. Thanks for listening. Goodbye, guys.